Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin, Alan Ruff and Tam McManus are here with me. Thank you very much to so many of you for joining us on a regular basis, and whether you're watching it live or indeed a little later on to suit your needs, then we are delighted that you're part of our football family. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and you'll get all the notifications of our unique content. There's lots of things happening with PLZ Soccer over the next few months that I think you will be excited about, and as ever, always good to have our regular pundits and special guests as well coming up. So with that in mind, we've got lots to talk about: European football, domestic football, some of the issues that are in the papers today as well. Quick question too, we've got Thierry Henry is 45 today, and all you have to do is answer this simple question: where does he rank in the all-time top Premier League goal scorers? The Premier League obviously started in 1992. Where does he rank? Which position? If you think you know the answer, then by all means put it on the feed on YouTube. Now, let's concentrate on last night before we read out some of your messages. It was Rangers 2, PSV Eindhoven 2. Great game to watch. Few mistakes here and there, lots of really good quality play. Thoroughly enjoyed it, Ruffy.
Yeah, I thought it was a good game, end-to-end stuff. Nobody sitting in. Both teams trying to win the game. I think Rangers will be disappointed with the second goal. I think we all agreed yesterday that 2-1 would have been a good result to go over there, but it wasn't to be. 2 each. I'm sure PSV will now see themselves as favourites at home, as possibly Rangers would see themselves as favourites if they went over there and get 2 each. So, all to play for. I think Rangers have to be a wee bit tighter defensively. I mean, the Rangers' strengths over the last couple of years in Europe has been the defence. It's been Callum McGregor, it's been Bassey, it's been Golson. Very, very hard to beat, hard to score goals against, but that's not the case now. Particularly at set pieces, they seem to get bullied. And they have to really have a serious look at that. Yeah,
he may well look at strengthening the sides over the next week or so, Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Here's the tale of the tape, Tam, as far as how they lined up and how it all played out. Obviously, Rangers with McLaughlin goal, Tavernier, Golson, Sands and Barišić. It was Lundstrom, Davis, Lawrence, Tillman, Kent and Colak. They had overall 55% possession, 12 shots. 7 of them on target, 4 corners. I really liked 2 or 3 players in that PSV Eindhoven setup, that 4-3-3. Certainly with Sabari, De Jong and Gakpo up front, they were a handful for Rangers. 45% possession, 9 shots, 4 of them on target for PSV and 5 corners. What did you make of the overall game?
I thought it was quite an even game. I thought a draw was a fair result. I thought that De Jong missed a great chance in the first 5 minutes for PSV. Good movement, great ball in. Rangers were sleeping at the back and they got away with that one, but Rangers grew into the game. Ruffy's right, set pieces. I think the goal that they lost, I think Golson's kind of surprised it comes to him and it just bounced off his head, and the big lad Sangari, I think, knocks it into the goal. So then they get their noses in front with a goalkeeping error. It's a terrible mistake for the goalkeeper. I'm sure a lot of Rangers fans were thinking, why is he shooting for there?
Yeah.
But if you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the raffle, and he gets it in target, goalkeeper palms it in, and you just think, can Rangers hold on to this? This would be a great result, to take over there. Because that goal came, at PSV's best spell in the game. I think they dominated the second half. I thought they came out the better side. Rangers got the goal and then they lose another goal, 2 each. Where does that stand in the tie? I think Rangers are now, up against it a little bit. I think that PSV are strong at home. You look at their home record; they're very strong at home. Rangers, away from home in the Europa League, have been decent. But there's a wee question for the viewers: when was the last time that Rangers won away from home in the Champions League? So that's a long time ago, and they can give you the answer to that. But they've got to go and turn that around in PSV in the Philips Stadium, which is a real strong, home arena for them. And I think that PSV now favourites.
Yeah, let's look at the positives. When they did get a grip of the game, Rangers, Ruffy, I thought they played some lovely football. I mean, the goal that Colak scored was a thing of beauty. It was one-touch stuff and then bang, it's in the back of the net.
Yeah, you could see some of that at the weekend there in the Premier League, so they've certainly got it in them. There's no doubt about that. And I thought the confidence of that goal, it would have grew on them, but it didn't. PSV started again, passing the ball about very, very comfortably, and they grabbed a hold of the game and they got the goal. And I always think in these games, every time you lose a goal against you, it sets you back 10-15 minutes, because you're then on the back foot. You're then going to go, oh, God, we can't let them score again. So you have to battle your way back into the game. And as Tam said, the goalkeeper gave them an avenue back in there, and
what did you do wrong? What was that?
He just took his eye off the ball.
Yeah.
It's one of the ones that you see it's an easy catch, but while it's coming to you, you're thinking what you're going to do with it once you've got it. You're going to field somebody or whatever, and you just take your eye off the ball.
Have you ever done that?
I think everybody's done it.
Yeah.
I think every goalkeeper in the world has done it. You've just got to move on. After that, I thought he had a couple of good saves, and when you're a goalkeeper, you've got to forget them. You've got to move on. You're not like an outfield player, you don't get the chance. So you've just got to try and redeem yourself in the next game.
Well, I wonder what it was like. Goalkeepers, it's a hard game, isn't it? Walking into the dressing room, I mean, what do you do? You're just like...
Yeah, I always try to get in first.
Yeah.
I always try to get in first because, just say for something, it was wee better. If you lost a goal in the first half and you knew you'd be in the dressing room and you knew you'd be coming waiting to sort of go at you. So the best attack for me was coming in the dressing room, hold your hands up and say, I'm terribly sorry, everybody. It was my fault. It was nobody else's. He would be going.
I've taken my eye off the ball and it's ended up in the back of the net. I mean, he was clawing at it, and you're looking and you're thinking, I mean, it's just absolute agony for him. But nevertheless, at that point at 2-1, I thought Rangers were going to manage the game out. But again, as you mentioned there, Tam, set pieces. So it's 2-2. How does it stand in your mind? Thanks to so many people. And Frank Green, who none of us know, Frank Green, he says, I told everyone it would be 2-2. Did Frank phone you?
I wish he would have. Yeah. That a few quid in it.
Yeah, did Frank phone you at all? I don't even know Frank Green, but Frank apparently told us all it was going to be 2-2.
Did anybody got the answer? The last time Rangers won away from home in a Champions League game? Qualifier or tie?
Was it Monaco?
No.
Go on then.
It was Lyon.
3-0?
2007.
Wow.
It was the last time Rangers won away from home in the Champions League.
I was going even further back, but anyway, Gallant says Rangers' equaliser was the best goal of the game.
Tremendous goal.
Best goal of the game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I think so, yeah. Well, most definitely, yeah.
Yeah, it was brilliant one touch. Certainly enjoyed watching that, and I think you can't write Rangers off. That's a stonewall certainty when you look at the experience of the last 2 or 3 seasons. So what about Giovanni van Bronckhorst? What does he make of how this tie is poised?
Well, I'm very positive person, and of course we are able to go through it. I mean, we've showed it also in the past where we can get a result away from home. It's going to be a difficult game, but I think probably similar the way you saw the game today. But I'm confident we have the chance in one game to go through. It's still even. So we have to go out there and play for everything, and that's group stage of the Champions League.
Yep, it's all to play for, and of course, no away goals, doesn't matter. Ronnie Chapman says Rangers will win over there, Peter, 2-1. I think a lot of people share your optimism, certainly from the feed here. Ronnie Porter says 2-1 Rangers next Tuesday night. And there's a lot of people optimistic that Rangers can do the business. And again, Hugh Scott says, Peter, I think when Colak scored, was he not giving a wave to Hugh McDonald? By the way, Colak's going to score 30 goals this season, isn't he? He's a stonewall certainty.
Hugh's got to come in here, we've got to get a big massive humble pie and stuff it right in Hugh's face when he gets 30.
By the way, the best bit of it, Rafi, May Colak, £30 million deal to Real Madrid. He's just been firing them in from everywhere.
The German team, you'll be raging Dortmund.
But he's been, listen, a great finish. I don't know, I can't work it out. I mean, I can't work out how many people are short-sighted on players and you think they've got to hit the ground running after 1-2 games, or you're starting to be critical of their movement, things that they don't do, rather than sometimes I think our nation, we should concentrate on being positive about the things that someone is good at.
Yeah, but I think his problem is he's came in and taken over for Morelos. Morelos has got a scoring rate bar none, and the next guy comes in when he's not playing, has got to come up to that mark.
Well, what
So
did you
he
make
gets
of
judged.
Giovanni van Bronckhorst's comment? Because when he was asked the question last night, were you tempted to put Alfredo Morelos on? He went, no. I was happy with what Colak was doing. I mean, he absolutely just kicked it right out into left field.
Yeah, some managers do that. Some managers can hear what everybody's saying round about them, but they stick to their own beliefs. And if the boy was playing well and he thought he had a chance of scoring another goal with 10, 15 minutes to go, then yeah, you leave them on. With him sitting in the background, and if he's no scoring, that's when he's going to get stick, because people are going to say, well, put him on, he'll score, because he usually did.
Yeah.
But now that he is scoring goals, you can't hold that against him.
It's amazing how stubborn managers can be, but when it comes to stuff like that, I can remember when I was at Hibs and I was on the bench and some of the fans were shouting behind the get McManus on, and Bobby Wilson would just flatly refuse to put me on.
Can I ask you this?
And I used to always think, was that just because they were shouting?
Yeah.
Or was it just because you just didn't want to put me on? So maybe that was something like that last night. Maybe a wee bit of stubbornness with the manager, because I was surprised that Morelos never come on. Very surprised.
Well, do you think there's something more sinister behind the scenes going on?
Possibly. When I looked at it and Colak had a decent game, Morelos in Europe, I think you've got to try and win the game at home. Particularly when it's 2 each, I thought you've got to put Morelos on, but he never put him on, and I don't know if there's something there.
It was Bobby Wilson the same when you were on, and the fans were saying, get him off, get him off. Did he leave you on, or did he take you off?
He persevered. But anyway, apart from anything else, you're always going to get in it. I think everybody's entitled to their opinion. Some people thinking Rangers have blown it. There are others that are optimistic about this one. PSV are very strong at home for me. It's Europe. As a Celtic fan, I'd rather see them in the Champions League, as they have no chance of winning that. But after last season, they're able to win the Europa League. This is a Celtic fan talking about Rangers if they drop into the Europa League. So a lot of people talking optimistically about Rangers. Andrew says Rangers' chance has come and gone. They'll be out in the second leg. So it's a contrast of views over the feed that's coming in on our YouTube. But post your message, by all means. Try and keep it football based. Ruud van Nistelrooy, he looked at the game, believes his side have a slight advantage going into next week's Champions League playoff second leg. And I think even at that, when he was asked the question, he was very complimentary about his overall assessment of the game, and of course the qualities that Rangers possess, because this is the thing about it, Ruffy. You've got a Rangers side that have got players now that are adjusting, that are getting used to things. They're going to be playing against Hibs at the weekend too. But they're more than capable of going there and pulling off something, because I think they've got players that can cause a wee bit of mayhem. I think I still haven't seen something from Kent this season to light it up yet. I think there's a lot of pressure on that boy for next week.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have to look back at last year when we all sat here at the Borussia Dortmund game, and said Rangers have no chance. Everybody was telling us what their home record was like, who they'd been beaten and who this and that, and then lo and behold, Rangers go over there and put up a good performance, and on the night they were the better side. But if you're PSV, you've now assessed Rangers and you now have them at home, you've got to fancy yourself strongly. You've got to. That's the way it is, and people will be looking at, are Rangers as strong as what they were last year in Europa? And unfortunately, I don't think they are. I know they're away now. I thought Aribo and Bassi were massive players for Rangers in Europe. And the people who have come in to take their two places aren't as good as them. I don't think the boy Sands is a centre half.
No.
And
should they be doing, as Ali McCoy mentioned last night, should they be looking at Balogun and saying, hey, let's see if we can renegotiate with him? Or do you think maybe Giovanni van Bronckhorst is thinking there's a fair bit of time here before this window closes, I need to get another centre half?
Well, it's too late for next week. You can't bring him in now. I mean, he's not been playing it in. He's not been doing anything. So you have to go with what you've got and hope that they get you through. The point I'm making is I don't think the players that are in for Aribo and Bassi have made the team any better.
Yeah.
Yet they might do it next week.
You don't think? I mean, I like Tillman. I think Tillman's been good. Lawrence has been good for me as well. Colak's scoring goals. You can't argue with him.
No, Colak's, he's doing his job. He's scoring goals, and that's what you've got to do as a striker. But
the only major area I think there's a weakness in the team is Barišić.
I think that area between Barišić and Stans is the one that I would be exploiting if I was an opposition player. If I was a opposition manager, whether that be Hibs on Sunday, I'd be looking at that area between Sands and Barišić, and that's the area that I think you can get a lot of joy out of. I agree that Bassey, Bassey provided that bit of pace, that bit of comfort for Rangers as two fullbacks to bomb forward, and knowing that they had that pace back there. I don't think they've got that pace now, and I'd be looking for that. But I think Morelos is an absolute stick-on to play next week against PSV away from home.
From the start?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
Even if he's not playing.
Yes, I think he'll play.
Can we go a fiver?
Go a fiver. I think he'll play because I think you need somebody like Morelos away from home to get you up the pitch. I think Colak is a penalty box striker. I think you need service into the box. Rangers are going to be doing a lot of defending, in my opinion, and I think you need somebody to get you up the pitch, and Morelos is brilliant at that. So I think you might play Morelos on Sunday. I think you might play him Saturday against Hibs, get an hour under his belt, and I think he might start. I think he'll start on away to PSV.
Oh, there's a big call. What do you think?
It certainly is. No, I don't think so.
Neither do I.
I think the writing was on the wall last night. If he really thought Morelos was a game changer, he'd have been on that park.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not taking the boy that scored the goal off, but taking somebody else off. You're at home. Get another striker on. Let's see if you can get the winner.
You know what I think? I think the manager's not happy with his fitness.
Yep.
I think the manager's absolutely hacked off that he's not as fit as he should be at this stage of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know him as an individual. He doesn't seem to be that team player. He seems to be one. A lot of clubs have a player who likes to just do his own thing and not be part of the team. And I touched on it at the weekend there when Rangers were absolutely flying and goals were flying in, and he wasn't scoring the goals and he wasn't part of the celebrations. Do you know what I mean? I'm not scoring the goals, so I'm not celebrating. Quite happy we scored. But he has, maybe it's just a foreign thing. Maybe it's just, if I'm not the main man and everybody's not talking about me.
It's not a foreign thing. I think it's an individual's personality.
Yeah.
I've met lots of home-based players who are up their own backside.
Selfish,
it's all about them.
I kind of get that from Morelos as well, but I think you're totally right about the fitness thing. I think that, he mentioned it before the home game that he didn't think Morelos was fit enough, last week in a press conference. So I think there is an underlying problem there between the player and the manager, and it's got to get sorted out, because I was very surprised that Rangers at 2 each last night with 10-15 minutes to go, they never put Morelos on to win the game. I was
reading more into the way he was curt, quick, snappy in his answer back. That told me that I thought that, this whole thing is, he's just not having the fact that he's not as fit as he should be at this particular point of the season. As far as PSV Eindhoven are concerned, there's 2 or 3 players, roughly, that I really thought were the business. I mean, the boy Gakpo, he could have won the competition we used to play 10 bob a nutmeg. I mean, he just looked as if he could do it at will. He was good. Sangare was good. I thought he was dangerous. And Siabari, I thought, caused problems. He should have scored. He toe-poked one past the post, but he was dangerous. He was always lively.
Yeah, you can see why these Premier clubs are interested in him. They'll be having them watched, and they're thinking about 30-40 million pound bids, so, there's definitely quality in there, and that's why I'm thinking if they're sitting in that plane whenever they went home last night or this morning or whatever, they'll be thinking, we've done a business here. We're good enough at home. We've got the players that you've spoke about there that will win this game for us. But you never know what's going to happen in the games. Their goalkeeper could throw another one, and Rangers could get a penalty. Somebody could get sent off. Things like that. So while you're still in the game, you've got to believe that you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Jimmy says Buff's been out for 5 months and just coming back. He's had quite a bit of time to come back, and he's now at that point where the manager's being asked questions about why he's not playing him.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. I'll read out Pease, even though he's obviously deciding to go down a certain track. He says he's just back from injury. You lot are clueless. Well, Pete, ask the manager, because you can clearly see there's something wrong with his attitude to Alfredo Morelos not playing at the moment, and he's clearly in the squad. So if you're in the squad, you're a certain level of fitness, and he's not happy with him. And a guy who can score goals for fun at times and has been an absolute star for Rangers in big games, the manager is making a call and there's something there. So we need to wait and see what it is. But thanks, P. We always like to read out some messages. Not everybody's going to be nice to us. It's as simple as that. But there's a story there with Morelos. Will he start next week? I don't think so. Let's call it on overall in the return leg. My gut feeling is they've blown it, Ruffy. I think they will end up going out of this. I think PSV have got the edge in this match now, and I think they might win it by the odd goal.
Yeah, well, I said yesterday that Rangers would have to take something over there. I thought that the 2-1 might be enough, because I mean, if you nick a goal, you're really in it. But with the 2 each and the chances they created away from home, you would like to think they're going to create chances at home. You're going to think they're going to create more chances than Rangers at home. So it's still evenly balanced, but I agree with you. I think everything looks like PSV now.
Yep. Tom?
Yes, I said before the first leg that Rangers would have to win. I think that you look at the home record for PSV over the last 4 or 5 years, very strong at home, all European competitions. So I think PSV will go through now.
Stephen says PSV lost to Monaco and Leicester at home last season, couldn't beat Copenhagen, Real Sociedad at home either. Plus they went out of 3 European competitions, so that must mean something. Well, with all due respect, absolutely. We certainly hope it means something, because I don't think you can discount Rangers and suggest that they won't be able to do something and pull off a spectacular result, but we're giving you the opinion of what we think. Johnny says Peter's acting like a Clyde Super Scoreboard pundit. Thank you for that, Johnny. That took me back. Anyway, remember those days. Apart from anything else, thanks very much to everyone who has their opinion on this one. We certainly hope Rangers can pull it out of the bag and produce something special. Whether they can or not, you can give us your opinion on it over the course of the 90 minutes. We can only offer you what we thought about the performance of the players on both sides and what we think will happen for the second leg. We could be wrong. And Hugh Scott says, Peter, I'm quite happy Tam is tipping Rangers to go out. We know how good he was at predicting last season in Europe. So Hugh makes a good...
The only one I got right was the final. In fact, I didn't say Rangers would win it. He's right, I am a Jonah.
Yeah, Hugh, you never know. Tam might actually just be at that point now where he's given Rangers a real chance of getting through. Anyway, thanks to everybody, good and bad, and their messages on Rangers. Zurich against Hearts. Different kettle of fish here. Our reporter Adam Binney has a look at this big tie for the Jambos.
For the first time since the 2016-17 season, Heart of Midlothian find themselves playing in European competition. This Thursday they will face off against Swiss outfit FC Zurich in the first leg of their UEFA Europa League playoff round qualifier. Founded in 1896, they currently play at the Letzi Grun Stadium and are managed by Franco Falda. So far, they have won 13 Swiss titles and have reached the European Cup semi-finals during both the 1963-64 and 1976-77 seasons. FC Zurich come into this tie as league title winners in Switzerland. However, after a poor start to the season, they currently sit bottom of the Swiss Super League, having yet to win any of their opening 5 matches. Donis Adviai is a familiar face to the Jambos. He joined Edinburgh side in 2020 on a 6-month contract and arrived with a big reputation. He was quoted saying, "There is no country, no city in the world where I don't score everywhere." But the striker left the club after just making 3 appearances and scored 0 goals. Another face to watch out for will be Blerem Jamalai. The experienced midfielder has won 69 caps for the Swiss national team. This meeting will be the first time that the two sides have met, and the second leg will be played at the home of the Jambos at Tynecastle next Thursday.
Well, and to Adam for a wee insight into FC Zurich, Ruffy. Not a great start for them. They've only actually managed to beat Linfield in 2 games. It's been a really poor start in the league, so I have high hopes for the Jambos.
I have high hopes as well, but it's not the first time we've all been disappointed with teams like Hearts and Aberdeen going away from home. I hope they put up a solid performance. I wouldn't expect them to win the game, but they really need to do something to bring back to Tynecastle, because we all know how intimidating Tynecastle is, and I'm sure Zurich would find that out. So they really need to go away, have a really good, strong performance, a goal deficit, and to bring back. But anything more than that, I think they would struggle.
Yeah. Are you happy that they've got enough quality to get a draw minimum there?
I'm happy with the signing that he's got, but they haven't been proven in Europe yet. They've not had come up against any European sides, and every time our sort of a second tier teams like Aberdeen and Hearts come up against European opposition, they fail. You know, so
you're a barrel of laughs, aren't you?
No, I'm just looking. I'm hoping. What they do is just there for everybody to see. They don't come up with the goods. So Hearts are looking strong. There's a lot of good signings, you know. So you're hoping they go there and put just a positive performance, that they're still in the tie.
I think if Hearts can do this, and I've got a feeling over the 2 legs they can, I think if they can do this, this is a huge lift for not only them as a club, but for Scottish football, just to have 3 teams that we can look forward to in European football. It would be absolutely brilliant, Tam. I know your Hibs association.
No, I totally agree. Listen, I think to have three teams in group stages, you know, at Christmas time, you know, it keeps everybody's interest in Scottish football up. You know, because we're usually maybe 1 team at most, you know, in Europe after Christmas or in group stages, and you know, you want to see Hearts in there. I think they've got every opportunity. I think if they can just stay in the tie, you know, on Thursday night away in Zurich, you know, come back with a draw, even as Ruffy said, maybe a 2-1 or a 1-0. You know, they're still in the tie, because Tynecastle's a very tough place to go and play. Don't care who you are. You know, it showed that against Liverpool a few years ago. You know, they gave them a tough game over 2 legs. So I think I give Hearts every opportunity. I think the draw's been pretty kind to them. I don't think they're up against a real powerhouse in European football. You know, obviously they turned over Linfield twice, but I would expect Hearts to beat Linfield twice as well. So I think Hearts have got every opportunity. I think the draw's been good to them, and they've just got to go and do the business now. Yeah,
Paul says Zurich's form is in the bin. Yep. Hearts should get it done. And Tam says Ruffy is just stating the facts. And then Johnny is unusual. He occasionally posts messages. I'm not quite sure what Johnny's all about, Ruffy, because I think he goes he goes through what I call tremendous mood swings on this feed, where sometimes he's nice and then he reverts to type. And he's now, Ruffy needs to stick to his tennis and golf, which is basically you're talking a lot of rubbish. It's as simple as that. Of course, everybody's got an impression on it. Remember Hearts against Bayern, who scored away from home? I certainly remember Hearts against Bayern, because the guy who scored against Bayern Munich is our guest tomorrow on the programme. Ian Ferguson will be in here. Ruffy, I like seeing Ian because he's got a great history in football, played for Rangers, played in some very good European results for Rangers. Also, Hearts against Bayern, scored an absolute raker. Played for Dundee United, scored in the Nou Camp to defeat Barcelona, and of course played in that magnificent Motherwell victory against Dundee United. Can you imagine having that in your CV? That's all those fantastic games. What a record he's got.
Yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable.
And he's a good looking guy, so I mean, he'd rip the back end out of you, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he probably would, but I mean, you just got to stick to the football, and don't look at his looks.
Do you know, I thought he was going to say something constructive there, but nevertheless, he's coming in tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. I think Hearts can get it. Do you? Give us your thoughts on it. Can they get the result? I've certainly been impressed with the way they've been playing, and the goals are coming from all over the park. It's not just about everybody looking and saying Shankland needs to start scoring here.
No, they started the season really well. Back that last minute equaliser at Easter Road. You know, they've been sitting with 3 wins out of 3. They're scoring goals. Barry Mckay's playing out his skin. You know, he must be knocking on the door for Steve Clarke now, the way he's playing. You know, we're kind of bereft of that kind of player, that winger. You know, a wee bit of talent, a wee bit of something different. So if Barry Mckay keeps playing well, Lawrence Shankland started to be scoring goals. I knew he would score goals, but he's getting great service for likes of wee Barry Mckay. So Hearts look strong at the minute, and as I said, I think the draw's been good to them. You're playing against a team that's struggling in the league at the minute, so if they can go over there and get any sort of positive result, you'd fancy them strong like Tynecastle.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and just I'm going to read this one out. This is P. He hasn't got a full name, but he's P, and his little picture's just a Union Jack. This is the guy who said that we were all clueless, and he's just said Celtic will concede 30 goals in the groups. So there you are. Okay, thanks for that. So he's
That's P to look into his crystal ball to see who the teams
Oh,
are
no,
that are
I
losing
think,
it.
I think,
And
I
then
think,
the goals too.
I think he's just opening his 4th bag of Doritos. Anyway, apart from anything else, P, thank you for that. We'll have a bit of a noise up here. Zurich against Hearts, good result. Yeah,
1 each.
Yeah, 1 each. Yep.
Yep.
Good for
Okay.
that.
I'll go for a 1 each as well. Let's go for that. Other stories that we want to talk about. Obviously, the Premiership. We'll hear from Derek McInnes shortly. The question on our quiz is fairly straightforward. Thierry Henry. It's hard to believe he's 45. Today it's his birthday. He is in the top 10 goal scorers of all time in the Premier League, but where does he rank in that top 10? He's been a fabulous goal scorer. Some of the goals that he scored in the Premier League, Ruffy, were outrageous. The one against Man United, brilliant. I mean, he's just had some super goals.
Oh, there's that many. There's that many. If you get a chance to see, I think Sky Sports do the greatest ever.
100 goals.
100
Yeah.
goals, and he's in one of them. And the goals that he scored, particularly with Arsenal, were just breathtaking. You know, to have the touch, you know, that he had in the finish, obviously the confidence, but there's obviously been a lot of strikers who have got a lot of goals, so it'll be interesting to see what the answer is to
Yeah,
this.
absolutely. Who's your favourite striker out of all the Premier League?
Alan Shearer.
Yeah, Shearer for you. Did you like him?
Different for, obviously, Henry, different kind of player, you know, different kind of centre forward. But again, if you get a chance to see his 100 goals, some of them are absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic.
He was my favourite as well, Shearer.
Yeah, he is. He's absolutely top drawer.
Yeah, he would just bludgeon the ball into the net, wasn't it? Just bust the net, go through any place in and brim.
Yeah, and of course, absolutely superb at all the clubs that he played for. So fingers crossed Hearts can get the job done. Before we hear from Callum McGregor and Derek McInnes as well, and we'll also give you the answer to that quiz question on Thierry Henry, I'd like to read out a few messages that come in, because if you download the PLZ Soccer app, then you can actually post a message to us in the submission section. You can actually record a video message as well, and it will drop into our account and we can feature it on the show. If you want to put a point across, get your face on the telly, by all means. Some people actually post us videos of their man caves, Ruffy, which is fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I told my mate who's got a man cave to post his in, so I'm expecting his to drop in the next couple of days.
Yeah, another thing I think we should do, Tam, which is good. I saw you looking at him there. I just hope the man cave is not the one that I'm thinking. Anyway, apart from anything else, the other thing I think we should do is a nice little TikTok behind the scenes. We've been putting a few of them out, but I think we'll do. We'll show them the staff room and give them a wee insight into some of the things that we've got, the memorabilia.
You'll see the studio and you'll see all your memorabilia up on the walls. All your Larson strips and your Larson strips.
Yeah.
And your
Larson strips. we've got a few, Ruffy, you know.
Oh, it's a fantastic collection. You know, not just Larson.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Larson.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, if you're good, you're good. It's as simple as that. Anyway, we'll do that in a TikTok. Yeah, absolutely. Follow us if you can on TikTok, because one of the great features coming up, I think it's coming out tomorrow, our reporter Adam Binney has been producing a day in the life of his reporting out there at St Mirren at the weekend, which was great, you know, getting up in the morning and taking us through the whole journey through to the reporting, which is great.
Fantastic.
We need to do that with you, Ruffy.
Oh, no.
That would be fantastic. A day in the life. A day in the life.
certificate.
By the way, the first bit of the TikTok, Ruffy walking through the supermarket, just not buying anything.
Actually, I have done it once. I've done it for BBC with A Day in the Life. They did a thing, and I can't remember the girl. Who was the presenter used to be for up north? Short blonde hair. She was a presenter. I can't remember her name.
Hazel Irvine.
No, it wasn't it. She was sort of a Gaelic. You know, she did all the Gaelic stuff.
Right, okay.
Anyway, it was a day in the life, and at that time my kids had horses. And she said, we'll start off with the horses because that's the first thing you do. What do you usually do? I said, I've got to muck them out and then put the thingy in the muck heap. No, in the muck heap. I had the wheelbarrow and I was wheeling the wheelbarrow up the thing and it tripped and fell right into the muck. I said, you take that out, wouldn't you? She went, no.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, apart from anything else, that's coming out on our TikTok tomorrow. Follow us if you can. Mike Harrison says, hi Peter and Ruffy, I absolutely love the podcast and the show on YouTube. I'm in Adelaide, so it's great to hear what's going on in Scotland. I'm a Hearts fan, and there's been an upturn in media exposure of the Scottish game due to Ange Postecoglou at Celtic and the Aussies, especially at Hearts, as they are internationalists there. I agree with you wholeheartedly that the PR of the Scottish game needs fixed properly, as it's pitiful in my opinion. Anyway, thanks very much. Love the show. That's nice. And also another comment coming in. I have to agree with Ruffy's comments about modern goalie gloves being not as good to touch as PSV's goalkeeper Benitez was at fault for the ball spinning from his grasp. I don't think it was anything to do with his goalie gloves. I think it was just that he just took his eye off it.
I think as well, it was torrential rain the other night, So. Yeah. No, I think he just took his eye off the ball, and it reminded me of Oliver Kahn in the European Cup final.
Oh yeah,
a couple of minutes to go, right through, just an easy shot. Can you imagine losing a goal like that in a European Cup final?
I think you remember Jules Rousset lost one in the Cup final, the 5-1, Rangers won 5-1. Right. It was an absolute howler, you just actually forget.
And then the boy for Liverpool, he just surpassed it all, he just threw three in the back of the net.
Yeah, he was terrible. And more messages coming in, I'm going to read and then we'll go on to the next point. Hi Peter, I'm listening to the debates over TV rights living in Canada. I'm fortunate to access Celtic TV and see all the games, with the exception of European games, which I view via DAZN, which I've been telling you about, Tam, regularly. There are countless other options, Sky providing SPFL coverage, apart from Fubo TV as well, which screens lots of other leagues. I find the Scottish game to be terribly parochial and narrow-minded, with no true foresight on showcasing our game, not just domestically but internationally. It's time to move into the 21st century, says John from Canada. John, you're 100% correct. I sense there is a real move towards that with maybe the American influence of the owners, Tam.
Yeah, definitely. I think that when they got together, Tim Keys at Dundee and Ron Gordon, Cormac at Aberdeen, I think they all know what it's got to be like in America in terms of footage. I actually, when I was doing Hibs TV last season, the SPFL were buying the rights to some of the games, obviously, and some of my friends were watching it over in Canada and America, and were watching the Hibs game and hearing me commentating and that. So it is getting out there, but it's got to be a lot bigger. It's got to get out to more people, and that's what the SPFL's marketing people have got to do.
Is that not what Sky Sports are wanting to stop?
No.
They want to stop you watching games abroad. They want to specifically, you have to have Sky Sports in the package that we're buying into for 29.
Yeah, but that's for the home-based UK subscriptions. What they're trying to stop
the dodgy sticks.
What they're trying to do is out with that. The SPFL are selling international rights, so that it will be that you can buy a package that other companies other than Sky can sell the rights internationally. So if you're in Canada, they will come up and say Canada has a channel called ABC Sports. They would show Scottish football, and you can watch it at a specific time.
So they're going to stop the streaming. They're going to stop Celtic TV.
Well,
to the chap that we're talking about.
Not necessarily. What's going to happen, Ruffy, and I see this coming, is there will be international rights packages. There will always be that, but there will be a situation where I think they'll embrace that kind of DAZN blueprint, which is there will be a package which is a pay-per-view, where if you want to watch one game at a tenner, you'll be able to buy it. It's coming. It's only a matter of time. I think they'll do that as well, and they're looking at that in the future as well. But the international rights for other countries to buy, a highlights package or live games, I think is what they're trying to negotiate now. The more money we can get in to get up to 50 million, I think they should be going beyond that for Scottish football to allow us to develop our own game for Scottish players, Tam, and be allowed to bring in half-decent foreign players.
Yeah, listen, there's no doubt that we undersell our game. The problem we've got, and I've spoken about it, I think Monday, is there's no other buyer, bar Sky Sports. If there was an Amazon or a Netflix or a streaming company up against Sky who really, really wanted it, then you would start to bump the price up and you would have a bit of a bidding war. Unfortunately for us, it's only Sky, and Sky are calling the shots in Scottish football, and they have done for a number of years. So as I said, it's up to your Ron Gordons and guys like that to get together and try and entice, use their knowledge, use their contacts in America, and say, listen, this is a great product we've got in Scotland. Would you be interested in buying it? And try and get somebody up against Sky to try and bump the money up and get us more money here.
Yeah, okay. Hi Peter, great show, never miss it. With regards to live streaming, I was a season ticket holder for many years at Rangers, but due to health problems can't make it up the road anymore. I would welcome being able to buy a season ticket for all Rangers games. I subscribe to Sky, BT and Premier Sports. That is a big commitment, I have to say, for League Cup and European games. Keep up the good work. Let's have a blue nose on the panel. Sometimes he thinks he's watching too many Celtic-minded people. To be fair, I think we had Richard Foster, Charlie Adam, and we've got Ian Ferguson on tomorrow. We try and bring people in with Jim Patterson from Dundee United. We're going to bring in lots of different guests along the way to offer their opinion on the football. But thanks for that, Duncan from Worcester. We value your support for us. There's lots of football fans up and down the country enjoying what we're doing. This one, Dear Peter, I've seen a YouTube clip of Rothie versus Celtic in 1980. Absolutely brilliant. He even saved a penalty. That's from Michael in Northampton. I think this is on the back of somebody saying Ruffy's rubbish as a goalkeeper. But to be fair, we don't need you to blow your own trumpet, Ruffy. I'll blow it for you. You were absolutely top drawer. And if you were in today, there'd be a few people knocking down the door for more than a few million.
1980.
It was 1980.
I must have to try and watch that.
Yeah, if you can.
I'll send you a clip of it tonight.
If you can. Anyway, over and above that, Scottish Premiership, we'll be talking about Derek McInnes and Kilmarnock shortly. Callum McGregor was out and about today talking. He's launching a book that we can all colour in. No, I'm joking. He's launching a book. Just a little insight into Callum. He's, for me, last season I got a lot of people giving me absolute pelters on here, Ruffy. He's the best midfielder in the country.
He was the best midfielder in the country before Celtic brought all the new players in. He was the only player at Celtic. He was like Scott Brown one year. He was the only player who single-handedly dragged the whole team. But now, obviously, Celtic have brought in a good influx of real quality players. The pressure's off him a wee bit. It's not all about Callum McGregor. You're not seeing him as the main man. But I think if you looked at the stats, I think he played more games than anybody else last year. Talking about club and international level, his level of performance has never ever dropped. He just went out and did what he had to do, and now he's got other players round about him who are making him even better than what he is. And I think he's a one-man team for me. He's a wee bit like Scott Brown, but and nothing against Scott Brown, but I think he affects the game more than Scott Brown. Yeah,
interesting you should say that. He certainly is someone on and off the park who's a tremendous ambassador for Celtic. He will be looking on next week with the vested interest of obviously Celtic in the group stages of the Champions League, and there's one name on the tip of his tongue that he wants to meet up with, and I think lots of Celtic fans would love to see this particular club drawn out in the same group as Celtic.
I think, like you said, we've played quite a few big teams. Probably the one that I think most of the Celtic fans would like is Real Madrid. Probably similar in terms of I've not played against them yet, but we know that anybody we get drawn against will be a top team and a big challenge for us, so we're always looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of Celtic fans would love to see Real Madrid, Tam.
Yeah, it's one that Celtic have not had in a number of years. I don't know when the last time Celtic played Real Madrid, but you'll probably know more than me, but they seem to have got Barcelona quite a few times over the last 10-15 years that I can remember. Even going back to when David Marshall had that world class performance in the Nou Camp for the 0-0. So I think Real Madrid, Celtic fans would love that. Celtic not going to win the Champions League, so you want to get a big glamour tie. Bring Real Madrid to Parkhead. I
think the last time they played them was 1980.
Is that what it was?
And I think Laurie Cunningham played for Real Madrid, Ruffy, and Celtic in the end lost out to Real Madrid. They were knocked out by Real Madrid, but Real Madrid had a right good side at the time. I think that's the last time they played them in a kind of certainly European Cup.
Over 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Celtic supporters have had the Barcelona, they've had the Milans, they've had Juventus, they've had But that's what Champions League's all about. That's why Rangers want to get there. Rangers want to, supporters want to see Real Madrid, and all right, they've had Barcelona and they've had a lot of big sides, but that's what we want to bring to our game. You know, that's what we're talking about, taking our game to another level. You don't test yourself until you get to play against these teams.
Yeah, there's a wee story about Giakoumakis, not for sale. I always feel as if that's an agent just throwing it out there just to get a wee bit of interest, might get a payday. I don't think Celtic are in any way interested in selling that boy.
No, not at all. You know, I think you can tell he thinks he's got something to prove as well, not only at club but international level. He certainly got off to a bad start missing that penalty, but since then, you know, any time he's been given a chance, he's looked good.
Yeah, incidentally, Celtic I think will be in pot 4. If Rangers actually defeat PSV Eindhoven next week, they could be in pot 3 or pot 4, Tam, because they'll obviously have to Benfica lose to Dynamo Kiev, then Rangers get into pot 3, but if Benfica win that tie, Rangers will get into pot 4. So everything to play for both. I mean, both sides know that if they were in the group stages, they're going to get, you know, at least 2 humdinger sides that are going to play against them.
You're going to get 2 enormous teams.
Have we got pot winners? No, we've not got pot winners yet.
No, calm down. No, I've only spent about 6 hours getting this together. Did you bring them in?
No, I just wondered who you think would be in that pot.
Yeah, well, it's the Real Madrid's the Bayern Munich, isn't it?
PSG, you know that.
You know?
Yeah.
So it would be absolutely sensational. Would you be up for going to the away games?
Most definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Could you fit that in your schedule?
Yeah, most definitely can.
It'd be great if we could get Tam there, but unfortunately he's on golf courses all the time at the moment, so it'd be really difficult to go to European games.
Yeah, I'm sure he could throw a couple of ties if we were going to Real Madrid or Paris.
Absolutely. Anyway, a couple of points to fit in before Tam goes to play golf, which is quite simply. Killy, they haven't had a great start to the season. Derek McInnes is talking today because obviously they're going to look forward to trying to get some points on the board over the weekend, and Derek McInnes says the season starts right now for Killy.
Our objectives from here on in, you know, don't want to just dismiss the old firm games, but you know, it feels as if we've got to get our season going now. You know, I feel as though the performance here against Dundee United and the level of performance was the type of performance and what we should expect more of from the Premier League. I think the games against Rangers and Celtic were always going to be a big ask for us. And clearly on Sunday we played with part of our own downfall in the game, but I think you've just got to quickly move on for it. You know, I think we looked at a few things. We looked at some of the certainly the goals and 1 or 2 aspects of the game that we didn't do well enough in. But now we move on. It's all about Ross County and the season from here on in.
Yeah, Ross County, Motherwell, Hibs on the horizon. These are games that they might be looking at and thinking, right, this is where we can start to get some points. Yeah,
I think it's always difficult when you just come up from the Championship and you've got Celtic and Rangers in the first 3 games. You know, so you're not expected to pick up any points. They get a last-minute equaliser against Dundee United, which gets them their only point on the board. But you're right, you know, they go to Ross County. That's a game they'll be targeting to get points from. Ross County, no picked up a point yet either. So that's going to be a very, very tight game. I'd fancy Ross County at home to beat Kilmarnock. You know, I still think Kilmarnock, and I've said it for a number of weeks now, Dale needs to get in and buy another 2 or 3 players.
Okay, interesting. Ruffy, do you share that view?
Yeah, I also share the view that Ross County have got to start winning games. You know, we keep talking them up. I've talked them up at the beginning of the season. It's important they start picking up points, because if Kilmarnock were to win that game, they will be no points sitting at the bottom of the league after 4 games. You know, and that's not somewhere you want to be after 4 games, because the pressure mounts. So we know Ross County are very, very difficult to beat. You know, when the big teams go up there, but they've got to prove to everybody that they can beat the weird teams. You know, so it's a big game for Ross County as well.
Yep. Okay, just before we go, last point, and it's basically for you to give us your thoughts on it, Ruffy, because it's the red hot topic on the papers this morning. The Black Cats have announced the preferred shareholder. The club obviously had to make a decision on the shares, and they're going to give it to the PTFC Trust, Partick Thistle Football Club Trust. So you're confident that that's the right choice. Why did the board choose the Partick Thistle Trust?
It wasn't the Thistle board that chose the trust. It was 3 Black Cats that chose the trust.
Right.
The 3 Black Cats held Colin Weir's shares. They were the one who had Colin's wishes of where they wanted the shares to go. So they decided.
Who are the 3 Black Cats?
The 3 Black Cats are Colin Weir's company. who, when he was alive, he had his shares and all his money with. So they were the one that had the shares. They had to decide where the shares were going. There was 2 or 3 consortiums who wanted the shares, and they all put their cases forward. But 3 Black Cats have decided that the Partick Thistle Trust, who have 19% of the shares already, are going to get the majority shareholding.
Yeah, who are the 3 Black Cats?
It's a company, a Collins company.
Right, so is it 3 individuals in it?
No, I think that's just the name of the company.
The name of the company, so they decided that obviously the Partick Thistle Trust, you've received a fair bit of criticism over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, obviously you're going to get that. You're going to get that when some people are wanting the shares and some people they're not getting it, and now it's going to somebody else. But for me, the bottom line is Collins' wishes were the shares stayed with the club, and that's what's happened.
Yeah.
No, the shares are with a consortium who have the best interests of the club, and that's all the supporters I think should be interested in, that nobody from the outside of the club can get these shares ever.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to be in the club.
How has Jackie Lowe been handling this? She's taken a fair bit of flack.
Yeah, she has taken it, yeah, because, you know, she's the head of the club, you know, and people obviously isolate that person and pick that person particularly. Yeah, she's a pretty rough time of it, but she's strong enough. She's been there before, and I think she's handled it particularly well. We met the trust last night and met them all individually, and they are 8 supporters of the club through and through from when they were kids, you know, and they've the right place at heart. They've got the club at heart, and if you listen to them, as you will do, they'll be releasing statements that I'm sure the majority of the supporters will buy into it.
Yeah, and other supporters will have a chance to join that trust.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it's fantastic. The first thing they said that once they have, I think it's 53% of Collins shares plus their 19, anybody who has a season ticket will now be a shareholder. So it's just a fantastic idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, the one thing I always worry about with fans on boards, Ruffy, is overstepping the mark. Wanting to speak to the manager, wanting to talk about who should be playing, wanting to get involved in things that I think are not really what it's all about. There's certain areas where you want people to think of the long-term health of the club, but not go into areas where they don't know anything about it. Yeah,
well, that came over very strongly last night from the trust. They don't want to be running the club. They don't want to be asking the manager this, asking them that. They do want to be involved, and the process that's going to happen is that we are going to have board meetings, and after the board meetings we will meet them after the board meetings and tell them what's happened during the board meeting. So there is some kind of unity there, and if they want things to add to the board meeting, they will give us what the fans want and we'll discuss it, and we'll just all working in the same direction.
Yeah, are you hoping that puts a lid on what's been happening over the last few weeks?
I hope it does, but I don't think it will.
Okay. Nevertheless, though, Tam, you know, more and more clubs now are embracing their fans, and the fans taking a major say in keeping the club going for the future, having a long-term view. That's the way ahead.
Yeah, I think the big one in Scotland's Hearts. You know, the foundation of Hearts. You know, with Anne Budge, you know, she gave obviously the supporters her shares. They bought them and she donated them to the club. And listen, the foundation of Hearts are fantastic. They're putting their money in every month. You know, they're a well-run club. You've got an opportunity now. They're one tie away from getting a huge amount of money. So Motherwell's the same. Motherwell, you know, the fans groups as well. So I think it's great, you know, because, you know, players come and go, you know, managers come and go, but supporters are always there. And I think that you've got to appreciate that the supporters should have a big say in how the club are run.
Okay, I'll leave you with these last 2 points. Johnny, who has these tremendous mood swings, has said my mood has improved. Ruffy is now talking sense. Yay! There you go. Thanks for that, Johnny. Doesn't get any better. The question was, where does Thierry Henry rank in the all-time top goal scorers in the English Premier League? He ranks seventh with 175 goals. Top man Shearer on 260, Rooney on 208. Andy Cole on 187, Aguero and Kane on 184, and Kane's got obviously a chance to climb above Aguero. Lampard on 177, which is remarkable, midfielder. Then Henry, Jermaine Defoe on 163, Robbie Fowler on 161, and Michael Owen on 150. That's your quiz question. Thanks to everyone who offered the answers. Thanks to everyone who actually mentioned to us about the games that are taking place, not only Zurich against Hearts, but Rangers against PSV Eindhoven, and how they think it's going to go. We talk football, we give you opinion, have a bit of banter with you as well. Hit the subscribe button, join us if you can, the football family, on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. From Tam, Ruffy and myself, Peter Martin, thanks for watching.